Mike Bohn joined now by the former UFC welterweight champion and potentially future once again, Kamaru. What a time to be talking to you. The belt on the line this Saturday at UFC 322 with Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. But haven't seen you in a few months since your fight with Buckley. How's everything been going, man?
Everything's been good. As always, nowadays when there's a bit of time off, it's trying to take care of some of those nagging little things that were bothering you, and then get in there and try to look your best. And so we saw that in that last fight.
Yeah,
Took a bit of a little bit of time off, and of course, a lot of people had a lot of questions. Can he still fight? Is he still this guy? Is he still this way? And I hope I proved that to everyone. And so, yeah, this is no different. But yes, I have my eye on this weekend, and we'll see who comes out victorious. I think it's a big fight. It's a good fight. It's a tough fight for both guys, but I'm sitting here looking at the winner like, all right, let's run it.
yeah. We'll get to that in a second. But you mentioned, kind of the doubts that were maybe surrounding you a little bit with the Buckley fight. You've won, the biggest fights you can in the sport for championships, winning the belt, defending the belt. Is there a different kind of satisfaction that came with that win, though? When maybe it's not like people are questioning, not if you're going to win a title, just if you're going to win a fight.
Yeah, there was some satisfaction that came from that one, just because I'm not usually someone who listens to the noise from the outside, but it was just that one was loud. It was loud noise. Obviously, when you've been a champion and you're known in this way, just as the guy that's just kind of been a dominant guy for a while, and then you drop one, it's a couple. Um, yeah, it was kind of when people started to kind of talk about you like you were past tense, like you were a decade ago. It was like, oh well, I mean, I guess I got to go out there and show these guys that I'm still here.
Yeah, you absolutely did that. And I know leading into that fight, as you said, you took the time you needed to be healthy and in the place you feel where you could compete at your best. What about coming out of that? Like, are you pretty healthy if this fight this weekend goes smooth and they want to turn this around in the first quarter of next year? Are you ready for that?
I mean, I'll have to be. It's that's never been a question for me. I would have to be. Um, I had to be ready whether it was a week or I've taken a fight on 6 days. I've taken a fight on what 7, 8 days, and so I would have to be. And I'm no stranger to getting there and scrapping. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's a full training camp situation to where we go in there our best and prepared.
Before we get into the fight card on Friday, you're going to be doing. They
Oh
announced a
yeah, the
Q
Q
and
and
A,
A.
yeah, with
That's
Masvidal and
about.
Dustin Poirier and Joanna and Jacek. Is it going to be tense up there? Or are you on better terms with Jorge now?
No, it's not gonna be tense at all. I think it's we're competitors. It was just that time when we needed to compete with one another. I wasn't gonna give him an inch and he wasn't gonna give me an inch. So I think that's that. We competed, we got out of our system. But that's an incredible panel, honestly. I mean, to be up there with Dustin Poirier, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, myself, and Jorge. I mean, that's I'm buying a ticket just for that. As a fan, I
Yeah,
want to just go see that.
dude, that's a great panel. Are you ready for
Right.
the rowdy New York fans? I'm sure, are going to ask some wild questions. Those people can be pretty out of pocket sometimes.
That's true. That's true. But it is what it is. It comes with the sport. I think we've all grown accustomed to it. From myself, Dustin, JJ, and we've grown accustomed to all of these. So, it should be a fun weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before we get into the main event, Kamara, there's some pretty damn good and important welterweight fights on this main card. Let's start with at the bottom. Obviously, you have a lot of history with Leon Edwards. Carlos Prates is doing some good things, proving himself to be a pretty exciting welterweight in here. How much pressure are you seeing on Leon Edwards coming into this fight to get back on track and prove he's still a viable contender in this division?
Well, I mean, it's that's up to him. Me personally, I don't really, that wasn't a thing for me.
Mm,
For him, it's how he handles that, because it's not just oh I dropped the fight, but it was I got dominated big time in both of those fights, and then I got finished in one of the fights. And so it would be how his mental is getting through that fight. But I think a good thing here that he has going for him here is he's potentially facing another striker. So in those fights, it was primarily he was fighting grapplers and he was dominated by grapplers. And so that question really still hasn't been answered on whether okay he can deal with an aggressive grappler. But now he's getting a shot to go to a young, hungry, and dangerous striker. So we'll see if this is something that he can deal with a lot easier because he is primarily a striker. But if not, then yeah, it puts you kind of in a dangerous situation because no one wants to drop three, and certainly you don't want to be dominated and or
Mhm.
potentially finish two out of those three fights. So we'll see how he deals with it and how he handles the pressure. But Leon is very skilled. He's shown that in the past. I mean, he was able to become the champion and defend. So we'll see how that fares for him.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's got to be breathing a sigh of relief going into this fight week. Like the list of past opponents: Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad, Colby Covington, yourself twice. Like that is not a fun stretch. I'm sure he just had a lot more joy in this training camp to start off
Yeah,
first.
but that's been the landscape of the welterweight division. If you think
For
about it, if
sure.
you're a champion and you're no longer that champion, there's not an easy road like, okay, let me just go get this striker and I'm back here. No, you got to go through the gauntlet of all these strikers or grapplers here. And if you're not a grappler, you might have a hard time.
Yeah, man. And God, it's this division's turning over so quickly, and that kind of leads us into this next fight. Like Sean Brady and Michael Morales, both kind of part of that next wave. Like we've seen kind of Colby, Jorge. Like your generation is being ousted a little bit, but you're still on the upswing. And you look at these two guys; they're kind of part of that next wave that has to be dealt with. What do you think of this fight?
Right, I like it. I think it's a very interesting time right now for the division because you got that the fresh crop of guys now starting to ascend to the top of the division. When you have guys like Joaquin Buckley, you have Michael Morales, you've got the Ian Gary, the Shavkat, the Sean Brady. I mean, it's and the Carlos Prates. That now it's a really really exciting division right now to keep your eye on, which is that welterweight division.
Yeah, what do you make? I mean, we know what Sean Brady is about. His wrestling is incredible. His grappling is very solid. A lot more unknowns about Michael Morales. What are you hoping to learn about him in this fight?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think both guys, they're still I mean, when I watch fights, I watch it with a different eye, obviously, as potentially people that I would compete against. And there is still questions to be answered from both guys. I mean, how does Sean Brady deal with being hit hard and by a guy that's big and strong and powerful that's gonna throw haymakers at you? How do you handle that? And as well, with Michael Morales, how do you deal with being dragged down, being taken to deep waters, not being able to just tee off on someone and get the quick finish? Are you able to go round two and three in that dogfight? And so, yeah, we'll see. A lot will be answered. A lot will be answered in these fights potentially. So,
Mhm.
well, like this is a fighting business. Anything can happen, and I'm just excited to be a fan and actually sit and watch some of these guys compete.
Well, the fight you're going to be most interested in, of course, is going to be the main event, JDM and Islam. I feel like I'm seeing, despite Jack being like, I think he's around a plus 200 underdog, a lot of fighters picking him to win this and making a pretty good case there. I don't know. Do you feel like these odds are uneven? Is Jack not being, at least from the betting line, the fans, the people who are, making this line move, are they not giving Jack enough respect here?
No, I don't think it's maybe they're not giving him enough respect. It's just basically because all they have to go off of is what you've done so far. And if you're looking at kind of Jack's past and what he's done so far, it shows that there might potentially be a hole in an area to where Islam might be stronger at and that's potentially in the grappling exchanges. But I take nothing away from I think I for me this is a close one. It's a very very close one. I think Jack is a really really talented and pretty well rounded fighter. I just think the area where there's a potential bit of a gap is in the grappling exchanges because that's we've seen Islam spend uh, a lot more time in those positions to where Jack primarily is a guy who loves to box and move his head and attack you and your body.
Are you expecting Islam to be a strong physical presence in this fight? I mean, he told me right after he vacated the belt that he was having a hard time keeping the weight on in this move up. But now that he's got to the end of camp, he said that, fixed itself. He's being very good. He's using creatine for the first time. But like everything you're hearing from Jack's side is like, I'm going to show him he's too little. I'm going to show him he's a real lightweight. And so many people seeming to think like the strength and the size is going to be an X factor in this fight. Is that being played up too much? Do you think Islam's going to be, out of his depth a little here?
No, I mean a fight's a fight, and I think the one area where being a bigger guy might have played a factor is in the grappling exchanges if you were trying to weaponize it. And that's not primarily something that Jack tries to weaponize. It's his grappling and his takedowns. And so I don't think it's going to be that big of a factor. First and foremost, Islam is a big guy. Islam, I feel, has the frame of a welterweight. He's always kind of had that. And so I don't think that's going to be that big of an issue for him. But it's a fight. It's a fight. Anything can happen. Anything can happen, but they're both gonna weigh in at 170. That's good enough for anyone. And we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it. Fingers crossed. Um, and potentially I can't wait to compete against either one of these guys, whether it's Jack or whether it's Islam.
Yeah. Last question on, I guess, the Islam side of this fight. He is currently tied with you, 15 consecutive wins for the second longest winning streak in UFC history. Anderson Silva at 16. Can you just, because you tried to do it, give context of how difficult what this man is trying to do, win 16 UFC fights in a row?
It's difficult, especially when you guys start talking about this and you guys start putting it in our heads and asking us about it. I feel like that's all I was asked going into that fight is how difficult is this? Hey, you're gonna tie this record, you're gonna do this, and it's like, okay, I wasn't thinking about it before, but now I'm thinking about it. And so it's difficult and it's impressive to go in there and win because it's not easy to win a fight, especially in the UFC. To go in there and win 16, 15 in a row is already impressive, but 16 and tie the record, that's extremely impressive. Obviously, I'm
Yeah,
kind of in a
especially.
bittersweet position here because if he does win that fight, then he ties it and he's one up above me. But if he doesn't win the fight, then that potential matchup of himself and myself, it seems to kind of shy away. So it's a tough one, but it's a great position to be in for Islam. It's a great position to be in.
Yeah, man. It's just so crazy. I mean, I Anderson Silva's win streak ended 13 years ago almost, and
It's
just
still
to like,
standing.
I didn't know if yeah, I didn't know if anyone would get to this point, just because crazy things can happen in there, right? You can
Right.
slip on a banana peel, you can get poked in the eye like Tom Aspinall, you can get kicked in the balls, like a million things can happen. So just to have nothing weird come up in 16 fights in a row too is almost an accomplishment in itself as well, let alone
Right.
to win them all.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah. So okay, the two-part question here: who do you think wins, and who do you want to win?
Man, it's a tough one. Who do I think wins? I think both guys present a lot of things that could give each other problems. Now we gotta remember that they're both going in against each other, both southpaws. Jack now has shown a tendency to be able to switch effortlessly and make it look very fluid to where you don't see it. And so that's something that he potentially could have in his back pocket. But they both fight very well in the southpaw position. Now, like we mentioned, he's bigger. He's gonna hit a little bit harder because he's used to carrying that just extra weight on him when he throws his punches. But where he has shown a little bit of a weakness is being taken down in the wrestling aspect and kind of controlled. And so that's also primarily an area where Islam has shined. And so that's what's going to make this ultra intriguing here. But I can't call it. It's very very tough one. I can't call it. I just want to see a great fight. Hopefully both men go home safe and back to their family. But personally, who would I want to win? Um, I just think like I'm in a position now to where I want the biggest the biggest, most challenging fight out there before, because I understand that I don't have another 20 fights left in the company. So if you can get, anything can happen. So if you can get that next one, and that next one can be that fight, then that's what I want. And I don't think we've ever seen 2 pound for pound fighters step in there to go at it. And with contrasting styles, to where they're both grapplers, to where that can cancel each other out. And so I know the last time I've been in a fight like that was Kobe Covington one, and where it was just, all right, we're gonna have it step in here, we're gonna do what we do, and we're gonna put on that type of fight. And so I think that's kind of where my head's at, is I want that fight. And let's just be honest, that's a bigger fight. I think Jack is extremely talented as well. And I think that's a big fight with Jack as well, the old guard and the new guard. But I don't think we've ever seen 2 pound for pound fighters go in there and fight each other. And so yeah, and so I think you could kind of guess where I'm leaning towards.
Course, and
Yeah,
I think it makes all the sense. The only thing I guess I worry with an Islam win, all these outside factors, like all these guys on this card who win, they're gonna feel they deserve a title shot. The winner of Bilal and Ian Gary next week is gonna think they deserve a title shot. There's this whole Ilya Taporia thing that's being asked to Islam every single interview. Do you feel like, do you worry a little bit that someone could try to take this from you, or do you feel pretty confident sitting here? I don't know if you've had conversations with the UFC
uh,
that you'll be fighting the winner.
no, it's not that I've had conversations, because the UFC is gonna do what they're gonna do, what
Yep.
they feel is the best for them. So it's not that I've had conversations with them. It's just, you just have to let it play out, and they're gonna do what they feel is best for them. Hopefully that's me. Of course, deserve is not a word that I like to use a lot. I don't like that word. I think no one deserves anything. I think it's what you feel, what you've earned, what you feel you've earned. And if the company feels that I've earned that shot, because I have showed them, there was a lot of questions of whether I could still hang with these guys now, these new names in the division. And arguably, I went in there against the most dangerous one, the one that was putting guys out with one shot. And I showed that, yes, I am still that guy. And so hopefully, that's been enough for them to show that I'm ready to go back and sit back on the rightful place, which is the top of this division, and then start to go through these guys one by one again.
Yeah. So if you get that belt back, I've heard you mention a lot about, the middleweight thing, and that would be the dream ending. We know the UFC is not
That would
liking.
be the dream. That would be the dream ending. But it obviously, they say now you have to vacate the title, which that
Yeah.
would be the dream ending, so that the division can continue. But also being able to come through now with a fresh crop of guys to go through, that would be something that's very, very intriguing as well. Because I've done that once, where you went through the guys, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going through them again. And now to come in and be the champion, and then you have a fresh group of guys to go through. Yeah, I think that sounds very, very, very intriguing to me.
Yeah. The greatest fighters in the history of our sport have gone through multiple eras of competition. So, God, if you get that belt back and you can defend against a couple of these dudes, I think GSP might officially be taking the back seat. I know Dana already said it's an undeniable argument, though, and he'll go back and forth with anyone on it.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and Dana has his reasons, and I'm just grateful for it to be acknowledged in that right. Obviously, I love George St. Pierre, and what George has done is incredible, and I consider him one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Yeah. Um, Last thing on this, Islam has said in a lot of interviews he wants to be on the White House card. Is that the dream scenario? He wins Usman versus Makachev at the White House.
If it's at the White House, if it's at the back of my house, it doesn't matter. If that's a fight if that's a fight that gets made, like, let's be honest, that White House card just got a little more firepower. Oh, if that's a fight that Dana wants to put on there, I would love it. I don't mind it. I've never shy away from it. It's just a fight that I think makes sense, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. So if it was either, would you prefer that, or if Islam said I need to fight in February before Ramadan?
No,
Sound
I
sound
prefer
better.
that. Let's be honest, and I'm in a place now where, let's give us some time. Let's really do the homework, and let's really prepare for each and every guy. Those days of me jumping in there on 5, 6 days notice, and taking on the guy, we try not to do that. I don't want to say we're done with them, but we try not to do them as often anymore.
Awesome, Kamaru. Well, this was great to catch up. Obviously, you're, in the thick of things. This is a crazy time for welterweights. So curious to see how
Yeah.
this all shakes out. Appreciate your time, man.